Mr. Speaker, with permission, I would like to make a statement on the Panama Papers. With my own circumstances first, yesterday I published all the information in my tax returns, not just... I've not owned any shares or any investments. The publication of a Prime Minister's tax information in this way is unprecedented.
You all have heard of the Panama Papers leaks. There are countless videos on YouTube detailing them, but we are focusing on the legal outcome and supposed intended prosecutions of various concerned parties.
27 people are going on trial in Panama City for alleged money laundering connected to that case.
As a quick background, the Panama Papers consist of 11.5 million leaked documents amounting to 2.6 terabytes of data, which were made public starting on April 3, 2016. These documents revealed financial and attorney-client information for over 214,000 offshore entities. Created by the now-defunct Panamanian offshore law firm and corporate service provider Mossack Fonseca, the documents span several decades, with some dating back to the 1970s. The leaked data compiled into a searchable database includes personal financial details of wealthy individuals and public officials that were previously confidential. Although the creation of offshore business entities is legal, journalists uncovered that some of the shell corporations established by Mossack Fonseca were used for illicit activities such as fraud, tax evasion, and circumventing international sanctions. In this video, we will reference 4 articles published by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, the BBC, Deutsche Welle, and the New York Times. These articles report that 28 defendants were on trial for money laundering, tax evasion, and corruption charges related to the Panama Papers. The world, especially those who value compliance, legal boundaries, and moral integrity, hoped to see the vast majority of these defendants found guilty of the applicable charges. But first, let's revisit the events leading up to July 1st, 2024. General elections were held in Panama on May 5th, 2024, to elect a new president, members of the National Assembly, and local governments.
Panameñas y panameños. The outgoing president, Laurentino Cortizo, is highly unpopular and has faced corruption scandals.
Due to constitutional term limits, incumbent President Laurentino Cortizo was ineligible for a second consecutive term. The winners of the general election, including the new president, were inaugurated on July 1st. The conservative candidate, José Raúl Mulino, representing Realizing Goals after the conviction and disqualification of former President Ricardo Martinelli, won the presidential election with a 34.2% of the vote. Mulino defeated 7 other candidates, with his closest rival Ricardo Lombana of Mocha receiving around 24.6%. The governing Democratic Revolutionary Party experienced its worst electoral outcome in history, despite being Panama's largest political party. Its candidate, incumbent Vice President José Gabriel Carrizo, finished in 6th place with 5.88% of the vote. The party also faced significant losses in legislative and local elections. losing the mayorships of the most populated districts.
Years after 11 million secret financial documents were leaked, more than 2,000 defendants were acquitted by a court in Panama Friday. Prosecutors had been seeking prison sentences for money laundering. The Panama Papers scandal exposed a network of tax havens involving people like Lionel Messi and Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, to name but a few.
On June 29, 2024, Panamanian courts acquitted all 28 individuals charged with money laundering in connection with the Panama Papers scandal, concluding a trial that began in April of that year. Among those exonerated were Jürgen Mossack and the late Ramon Fonseca, founders of Mossack Fonseca, the defunct law firm at the center of the scandal. Mr. Fonseca passed away on the 9th of May 2024 from complications due to pneumonia. To the surprise of many experts and analysts, Judge Balosa Martinez stated that the evidence considered by the court was, quote, not sufficient, end quote, to determine the criminal responsibility of the defendants. During the trial, the prosecutor sought the maximum penal sentence of 12 years for money laundering for Mr. Mossack and Mr. Fonseca. Unsurprisingly, both denied any illegal actions by themselves, their firm, or their employees. Additionally, the judge mentioned that the 50 pieces of documentary evidence used to prosecute the defendants had not been gathered in compliance with Panamanian due process, leading to the dismissal of all criminal charges. According to the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists article, Panama's new president labeled the Panama Papers a hoax, prompting experts to express concerns about money laundering acquittals. Legal experts argue that the acquittal of the 28 defendants facing Panama Papers-related money laundering charges raises serious questions about the progress of anti-corruption efforts in Panama and beyond. The country's new president welcomed the trial's outcome. Carlos Barsala, a Panamanian attorney and former president of Transparency International's Panama chapter, said that the decision reflected a blunder by prosecutors, as much of the documentary evidence was obtained by authorities during an inspection of Mossack Fonseca's offices. From a global perspective, this case highlights the challenges and the need for prosecutors to have more resources, not just economic but also technical expertise. This trial was seen as a global opportunity to sanction and punish money laundering and to set a precedent for serious consequences relating to tax evasion, fraud, and corruption. Unfortunately, the outcome of the trial sets a global precedent that such unethical and illegal operations might go unpunished in the future, potentially causing significant detriment to the entire global financial system. One positive aspect of the revelation of the Panama Papers prompted lawsuits and regulatory reforms in Panama and beyond, and directly led to various governments recuperating over $1.3 billion in back taxes and penalties. Going back to the last Panamanian elections, did the new president's appointment make a difference in the final verdict of the trial? Would the result have been the same under the former president? Corruption in Panama has been a significant issue for many years, affecting various aspects of the country's political, economic, and social spheres. Panama has a long history of political and economic corruption, often linked to its strategic geographic position and the operation of the Panama Canal. Over the years, various administrations have faced allegations of corruption, misuse of public funds, and connections to illicit activities. Political corruption in Panama is often characterized by bribery and kickbacks, meaning public officials accepting bribes in exchange for favorable decisions, contracts, or licenses. Embezzlement, meaning misappropriation of public funds by government officials for personal gain. Nepotism, or otherwise favoring relatives and friends in government appointments and contracts. And electoral fraud, such as manipulation of election results and voter intimidation. Corruption in Panama remains a pervasive problem with deep-rooted historical, political, and economic dimensions. While there have been efforts to address it, a whole lot more needs to be done to create a transparent and accountable system that can effectively combat corruption and promote good governance, and the result of this trial negates any of that. Compliance in financial offshore jurisdictions is of paramount importance for several reasons, which are discussed on our channel. Offshore jurisdictions, often referred to as tax havens, host a multitude of financial activities, including banking, insurance, and investment management. Effective compliance frameworks help ensure that these activities are conducted in a lawful, transparent, and ethical manner. Compliance with anti-money laundering standards are paramount to ensuring such cases don't happen again. Although with the Paradise Papers, much more needs to be done, and it seems at the moment that such illegal and illicit activities will continue to fester in numerous offshore jurisdictions. Thanks for watching this video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Take care, stay safe, and we'll catch you in the next one.